Hello, today I am going to be showing you how to get a basic understanding of the program Musescore. So, we have Musescore open here, and the first thing you're going to see is the Start Center. If you're going to create a new score, you obviously click the Create a New Score. Now this part doesn't really matter that much, but let's put in some stuff. Composer, me. You don't have to fill out any of that. Now here is where you can choose your instruments, and this is also not that important, but we'll do it anyways. Let's say we want a piano. I don't know where it is, so we can use the search. Just get piano, and that'll be our main instrument. We could choose the key signature, or we'll just leave it blank for now. Now all of the stuff that you see, we could change mostly. We'll add a tempo and finish. Now we have this blank template. Now you can see if we click on this stuff, we can change it. We could even change the tempo. The first thing we're going to do is click I. This is going to show the instruments. This is if you want to do something more than just one thing. You could add stuff. Let's say we want to make a trumpet solo. So we're going to add this, and we can click this button to put it on top. We can delete clefs. If you click remove from score, it'll remove the bass clef, whatever you're selected. So let's say you have a vocal and it has two clefs and you only want one clef, you can get rid of one of those. Very helpful. Alright, so now we have the trumpet and the piano. We can rename, we could do a lot of stuff with these. So the first, if you click on these, you're just clicking on the rests. So if you want to put a note down on the measure, I'm going to do Control and scroll, and we can scroll in and out. I like to see what I'm doing more. And we're going to click the letter N. And now we are in note mode. And you can use this one of two ways, and this is my love-hate relationship with Musescore. You can use the numbers on your keyboard to cycle through the types of notes, or you can click on them. So let's say we're going to make hot cross buns. So we got a quarter note, and you could hear the note when you click it, and it'll automatically go to the next note. Shown by this blue line. And if you have a quarter note and you are like, I don't know how to say this, biting into a half rest or a whole rest, it'll split the rest. So let's say we just messed up because we're making hot crust buns. This needs to be a half note. So what we could do is you can click N to get out of note mode, and then click this half note and it'll make it a half note. And then we can go to the next measure, and as you can see, it'll split this rest and you don't really have to worry about it. But let's say you want to put something that's not on this rest. So what you're going to have to do, there's two ways to do it. One is you could split the rest manually by getting out of note mode and clicking on this. It'll open up the rests and it'll split it out so you can put stuff on the second note or the third note or even eighth notes. The second thing you could do is click note mode, click something like a quarter note or an eighth note, and press the 0 key. That'll put an empty note and you can use this. Very helpful. Now this is the basic stuff up here. You have your, half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes. This is how you tie. So let's say tie, note, click this, and it'll automatically tie whatever is you have selected. Rest stuff, and this idea, sharps and flats. And this right here is voices. It is very essential when you're working with percussion. Let's get a drum set added. Now, if we click N, you're going to see this pop up. and this is very essential for percussion. So as you can see, these notes are green. That means you're in the second, and this is just to see better. So now you have this is a snare. You can play around all of this with what you want, but the problem is you have to be very careful if you're working with a drum set. As you can see, I am in the second voice. This is a gripe I have with Musescore. I have no idea why. You have to click it again, or you have to click one again. So you have to be very extra careful, else the sticks on the notes will go different directions, and it's a mess. Alright, so music is obviously not just notes and rests. There's more stuff to it. One thing is this entire section. This has almost everything you need to have in music. You can edit, there's accordion stuff, fretboards, adding fingerings on top of notes, tremolos, no heads, breaths and pauses, ornaments, like there's trills, that's important, brackets, arpeggios, clefs, key signatures. This is a big one. So you know how you could edit the key signature before. Now here you go. Here's your key signatures. You can add it somewhere else. Let's say you want to add a even sharper key signature here. It'll go. And it is tuned to concert. So as you can see, I clicked the 3 sharps, which is A major, but this is trumpet, so it's transposed and you get B major. Time signatures, also extremely important. You just have to have the measure selected. It'll have this box around it, and you can just click. Boom, there you go. Accidentals, that's important, but it's also up here. Articulations, and Musescore has a really good feature where it actually plays the articulation. So if you have an accent, it'll be louder. And you can hear the spacing because of, forgot what that was called, I'm going to be honest. Very nice. Let's put a staccato. Let's see if I can hear that. Yeah, it made a whole bunch of space. Grace notes. These are also very important. Phrasing. What you need to do is you need to click this one. Shift. Click on another note. For some reason, it's collecting the BPM for some reason. And then you click the slur, and it'll add a phrase marking. Obviously, these are accents and stuff don't make sense. Decrescendos, crescendos, very important. Bar lines, repeats, staff text, and system text. Staff text will add just to the one line, I'm pretty sure, and system text will add it to, all 3. Oh, yeah. So there's going to be some formatting that's, amazing. You just have to be careful. Tempo, again, you can change the tempo. Let's just undo that. Boom. And for some reason, they are not appearing under the correct parts. They're all lining up here. Dynamics, also extremely important. Repeats, and these are kind of unimportant. So there's everything you need in music. I think the most common thing I use are these lines, tempo, and dynamics. So let's go to the right side of the screen. Now, if we click a note, there's this window, it's the element, and in the view panel, you can change what you see on the screen, and inspector is what you want if you can't see this. So in inspector, we have the element, and we could change stuff about this note. We could change it to not be visible. We can even change the color. Alright, apparently you can't change the note's colors. You can do a lot of stuff, and it just depends on what you have selected. Now, the mixer is not something that you're going to see by default, and this is important when you want to listen to individual tracks. So let's say we have some stuff on piano. Beautiful. And let's say we only want to listen to piano. So if we click this S button after we've shown it in the view panel. Now we are only going to hear piano when we click the space bar to play it. Beautiful. If we unclick it, now we can hear it all. And muting, that's what the M's for, and S is for the soloing. You can also change the volumes of individual ones, and this is the master gain. Have it to 40 decibels, else you're going to blow your ears out. Very nice. Another important feature that I sometimes use when I'm transcribing stuff is the Transpose tool under the tools. Now this will have anything you have selected, which you can do with shift click, and you can transpose it. I use interval, so let's say we want that an octave higher. We go all the way down here to perfect octave, up, perfect octave, boom, now it's up here. Beautiful. Another important panel that you can see is the style button. It brings these very extensive settings about your page. So we can change the font of the page. I like the default one. They recently changed it. There's a lot of stuff in here. Changing sizes, measure numbers. If you can see the measure numbers on each measure and all that stuff. Just about every setting you'd ever need. Very, very complicated. You're probably not going to use most of this, and I haven't either. It's just very specific, and if you need to change something, if something's not working. The add tool, you can add some stuff, intervals, unison above. Yeah, it'll just add it based on whatever you have selected. Tuplets, these are also very helpful because triplets are notoriously hard. Clicking Control 3 will also give you a triplet on whatever you have selected, but if you have 2 quarter notes selected, it will not add it as one big triplet of quarter notes. Inserting measures, if you want to insert a measure, you click the insert button. If you don't have this on your keyboard, it's under add measures, insert a measure, and if you click control insert, it'll show up a box where you can insert as many measures as you want. It's also the mute key for my recording software, so I will not click it. Now that you have your song done, it is time to export. So let's delete these measures by selecting them, all of them. You have to click from top to bottom and doing control delete, which will delete them all, not backspace. And we will go to File, Export. Now we can export this as a PDF. We can export this as an MP3. We can also even export this as a MIDI file. Now we are just going to export it as a MIDI file. A thing we are going to do before we export it though is click on this button, Parts. Now this is how you get separate parts printed out. So we are going to click the All Parts button. And now this has created parts for our parts. And now we can click OK and go back to export. And now we can export all of these as parts as well as the full score. Right now we're only going to export the full score. And now you can see in my downloads, I have it. I'm going to open it. It is open on my second monitor. And as you can see, we have it right here. Zoom out. And here we have it. And we can print it out and all that stuff. Wonderful. Don't forget to save your project as well. And that is about everything you need to know about Musescore in a nutshell. Thank you.